One of the pieces of Ted Braude's work that is most inviting and exciting for me is that he presents a countercultural or a different way of working with boys, having boys come to discover themselves and the world around them.
I think one of the key challenges of teaching boys, especially at this level, is that the educational environment is not set up for boys. It's a very sedative environment where they're supposed to be quiet and sit still, and they're not there yet. They're not able to do that. And so creating an environment that is both good for educating and good for the boys is very challenging.
I also challenged Ted just a little bit about, you've done this great work, you've worked with individuals, you've done education, so what would it look like if we took Ted Braude's work and we institutionalized it? We created a school, a space that is really shaped around some of his best thinking about boys and men and how they come into their own sense of being.
So he gives us the tools that we need to allow the kids to have good relationships with us, to respect us, and it allows us to just be better at what we do, be better teachers.
And I think that his techniques, while they seem so obvious in some ways, but they are really new ways of thinking about things. And I've been working with teenagers for 15 years, but Ted presented ways to approach the whole thing that really shifted the angle at which you kind of meet the student, and it was really helpful.
I think Ted just has helped us to recognize where boys are. I think he's really good at what I mean by that is where they are developmentally, and then allowing us to understand how to work with them at their level. He teaches us, or has talked to us about how boys view interactions with adults, and that has helped us to craft our responses to them and to kind of approach them in a level that speaks to them in a way that they can understand it, and then helps us not pull out our hair and become just incredibly frustrated because they're not little adults, they are young boys still.
One of the transformative pieces has been to have faculty or parents actually offer the situation where they feel stuck and get Ted's input on how it might be different.
I've seen, results like that. I have seen immediate role changes based on some workshop type things that Ted's done with students and teachers together.
I think one of the most valuable things Ted can give any individual or any group of parents or teachers or administrators is that boys are different. There are certain techniques that you need to know and you need to have that will make you much more effective and much more efficient in dealing with young men.
I would strongly advise you to have Ted come to your school, especially if you're teaching boys, because he got our whole faculty refocused on who we are and why we're here. We're here to teach them, and we're here to encourage them. And we're not here to babysit them.
That Ted Braude is someone you would want to bring to your school because he remains relevant to the changing need of specifically boys and where they are within culture.
If I had a colleague or a friend or my sisters teach, who were struggling with students, particularly boys, I would have them talk to Ted because he has a lot of experience, and he has real time and real world techniques that are very useful, and they're easy to use and implement. And once you implement them, they kind of take care of themselves. It's hard to forget their common sense, and it's not going to change your teaching style. It may, but it will change your relationships with your classroom.